And we are officially live. Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another episode of the All Elite Ensemble review, your weekly AEW review show here at BC WrestlePod. And we are back at it again with the dynamic duo for this edition of our AEW review. Of course, my name is Mikey. I am El Jefe of the BC WrestlePod part. And joining me this evening is my tag team partner in this dynamic duo, Mr. Benny is in the house. So, hi, Benny. It looks like it's us two once again.
Happy to be here, Mikey, and let's rock and roll, my friend.
Absolutely. So, if you're brand new to BC WrestlePod, we're happy that you are here. You could subscribe to our YouTube or follow us on Twitch or Kick, whatever your preferred platform of choice is for watching videos / watching streaming content. But if you cannot commit to these live streams, we highly recommend that you stay active with our BC WrestlePod community via the social medias at BC WrestlePod across pretty much every social media site. That is where we post our report cards. We give you previews of the TV shows that are happening, as well as our predictions for pay-per-views and results of said pay-per-views as well. So thankfully, it's kind of a little bit of a breather this week, which is very, very nice. But then starting next weekend and for the remainder of the month, it gets buck crazy with all the pay-per-views that are happening. So I'm thankful for a slow week, but it is about to ramp up very soon. And last but certainly not least, if you like our little community and you want to rock some physical goods along with it, we do have some merch available for you, which includes review merch of all of our review teams here. We also have a Pride and Anti-Fascism collection. And then just dropping earlier this week is our fall collection, the Pumpkin Suplex Latte collection, in which, if you want to rep the fall season with the pumpkin spice latte, but with wrestling flavor, we got you covered with our shirt. It's so much fun. And of course, with everything that is dropping over the next couple of weeks, everything has a charity tie-in, and our fall shirt will have parts of the proceeds be donated to No Child Hungry, which is an organization that helps feeds kids not only during the holiday seasons, but more importantly, they also help children be fed at schools that qualify as well, because no child should go hungry, and that is their mission. So, link in the description of this chat, and link in the description of the video here as well. But without further ado, let's just get into it. So we are going to kick things off as we always do here at All Elite Ensemble, and that is with our AEW Dynamite review. So we got a lot to talk about, so let's just get into it. Because Benny, we kick things off with a big old brawl. So Gabe Kidd comes out and he's holding the show hostage. He calls out Darby Allin. Darby Allin shows up. Everybody else shows up. The fight goes back stage. Gabe Kidd tries to kill Darby with a hammer. For the second time within the last couple of months, Darby Allin chloroforms somebody. In this case, it's Gabe Kidd. Puts him in a body bag, zips it up, and then Darby jumps in the truck and drags Gabe away. I'm like, I just witnessed somebody get chloroformed and kidnapped once again on my AEW television screen. Normally, I should be worried, but this rules. Oh, Darby never changed.
Well, it is the ECW arena, right? I forgot to say this last week. There's been a lot of ECW tribute shows throughout the year, right? Throughout the years, but this past few weeks have really captured the essence and flow of ECW hardcore TV.
It really has, and it's a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, it's super fun and I love it. And Darby is a wrestler that is absolutely made for the ECW arena. Like I don't know what Gabe Kid's still doing here, but we're all still trying to figure that out. But you know what? It's been fun while he's here.
No, for sure. And Yeah, Gabe Kidd's here until it's time for him to go back to New Japan for Destruction in Kobe. So that's not for a little bit. So we're still here. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we got a whole brawl and everything, which also included, Hook and the Ops and everybody was out here. It was nuts. So we're going to come back to a couple of these folks later in the show because now we get into our first match of the evening, which happened to be for the TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné defending her title against Alex Windsor. God, I love saying that. It's so infectious. This was a really fun match. I also forgot to say this last week too. I love the way that they structured everything in the arena, from the entrance ramp to the LED boards that are surrounding the ring on the pillars, which gives it a really Fight Club feel, which is really, really cool and I really love. And this match was no exception. I had a good time. I was wondering how we were going to go from, Forbidden Door into Alex Windsor getting another chance at the TBS Championship. And lo and behold, that is exactly what we got. This was a really fun match to open it up. Of course, Mercedes would retain the championship, and we're going to talk about what happened afterwards. But Benny, what did you think of this match opening up Dynamite?
Yeah, to be honest with you, like I also love the setup of the arena, and I love the pole in the middle of the entrance ramp. The pole in the middle of the entrance ramp, just like it used to be in the ECW. And like uh, this match was perfectly fine. Like I really I didn't there wasn't that much that like well, it wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. It was a perfectly fine TV match. And I thought Mercedes, like even though she was wearing the outfit from the gear from Forbidden Door, her hair on Dynamite was with the gear was given very Christina Aguilera.
I love that comparison. Yeah,
Only
yeah,
Mercedes. Only Mercedes,
for real.
I mean, she doesn't have the range, but but that's Mercedes' bag.
Very, very true. And we loved it. So, again, Mercedes ends up retaining her championship. Alex Windsor goes to, shake her hand. Mercedes flips her off, which then has Alex Windsor try to put her in a sharpshooter. And then Mercedes counters, putting her in a submission. And then Benny, this was not on my bingo card, but we get the return of Rio. I was so excited. One of the day ones, your first AEW Women's World Champion. Riho comes out for the save. And more importantly, it sets up that at All Out Toronto, it is going to be Mercedes versus Riho for the TBS Championship. And I was just like, oh, she's back. I'm so happy.
I know, right? Like, love me some Riho, but like, to be honest with you, when her music first hit, I was just like everybody else was like, who's that? And then once I saw her, I was like, yay!
I'm telling you, man, these visa issues are a big pain in the butt for a lot of wrestlers, but I'm so happy that Riho is back. We're getting her and Mercedes for the TBS Championship at All Out. I was just like, I love you, Riho. And then tomorrow evening, we're not wasting any time because Riho is coming back. It's going to be her and Alex Windsor versus Mercedes. And, of course, my favorite queen of all time is Emmy Soccer. I was like, Emmy! That's another one I miss. I'm like, Emmy! I love Emmy so damn much.
Seriously. Bow down to your queen of queen of wrestling.
So I can't wait for that tomorrow, and I can't wait for this match at All Out Toronto. But we move on from our opening match because backstage, it seems that we got some beef between, the Ops and Hook. It's mostly Hook has beef with the Ops, but Samoa Joe is like, listen here. I was just like, you gonna need our help, and when you do, we still gonna be there, but don't be a little punk about it. I was like, Hook is. Hook, I love you. I really, really do. But I don't know what this acting was. This was so not great. I was like, Hook, you're trying too hard, bud. It's okay. Like, are you about to cry? Like, what's happening, Hook? What's going on?
Yeah, Hook seemed like that like 15-year-old that like his father's trying to like discipline him. Like, hey man, it's okay. I'll always be here for you. Like, I don't care, Dad. Just get out of my face, man. Like, how'd you replace me so quickly? Like, what? and like, I love how Hobbs was like, "What are you talking about? I've always had your back." Going back, referencing Team Taz, which was a nice little tie-in.
It definitely was. So yeah, Hook is probably going to need the ops help at some point, and we will get there when we get there with this. But Hook, I love you, but we got to work on this acting, bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. But we move on from Hook and the ops having beef to people who be having more beef with each other. So Mark Briscoe gets into the ring. He still wants a shot at Kyle Fletcher's TNT championship. Of course, you know, Don Callis told Mark that he's going to need to defeat somebody from the Don Callis family. So, first of all, Takeshita, you look good in this outfit, my guy. Like, the outfit was on point. Love this. Which then divulged into a match, which was, Briscoe versus Lance Archer, in which, Briscoe does pull out the victory here. And so now on Collision, in order for him to get his shot, Mark Briscoe is going to have to go through Takeshita. I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I was just like, God bless Mark Briscoe. He's about to get his ass whooped. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be entertaining so much to watch. But yeah, Takeshita, I was like, this outfit is on point. Loved it.
Yeah. With all due respect, I thought he looked like like a boss from like the Yakuza games, you know, and uh, like I like that like after he found out about he has to face the Kesha, he was just like, yeah. Well, what about tonight? Like, and then Lance Archer's like, I'll take him up on it. And then we get like a little taste of Killer Elite Squad versus the Briscoes with Lance Archer and Mark Briscoe. And I thought this was a really good match. Archer is one of those guys that like really will surprise you every once in a while. But like he can phone it in, but like when he turns it on, like he's one of the best.
100%. And so at this point, I was like, ooh, okay, Takeshita and Briscoe. This is going to be a lot of fun come Saturday for Collision. So more on that when we get to Collision. Tony Storm, just yes. So this promo, Tony is telling the AEW women's division that they need to step it up. And I'm just like, yes, Tony, we're here for all of this. And step up they shall, especially what happens on Collision. But Tony's promos are always so great. And I was just like, I don't care. Like, I don't know if how long she practices these, or they're just, off the cuff. Ooh, excuse me. Tony, I love you. They're so much good.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Tony Storm was on MVP's podcast this past week, and uh, he was like talking about creative freedom, and she's like, I don't really know what that means. Like essentially giving like a kayfabe answer, which I like because can't give all the secrets away. Um, and like I like this promo a lot, but I'm gonna uh, disagree a little bit in that um, after with this promo, and then what happened on Collision, I was like, these don't add up. Like this doesn't make any sense.
Which, you know what? I will agree with you, because by the time Collision was over, I was like, huh, what she said on Dynamite to what I saw doesn't really add up. But at this point of the week, I was like, you know what, Tony? I'm here for this. But Tony, yeah, but then I was like, Tony, you made me look like a liar when we get to Collision. But I digress. Tony's promos are a lot of fun for sure, and this was definitely one of them. But I agree with you. By the time we got to Collision, I was like, you lied to me, Tony. I love you, but darn it. So, never change, Tony. Never change.
Never.
This is the chaotic energy I did not know I wanted until we got it on my screen.
Oh man.
Shout out to me getting the perfect part of this backstage segment in a photo.
Yeah, that is a great screen grab.
I loved it so much. So of course it was funny and teehee and haha because Harley's out here challenging Brodito versus her and Chris, which I was like, you know what? I kind of would be here for that match. I'm not gonna lie. But then, of course, we had Marina and Yuta come in to say, hey, to Chris, be like, hey, friend says, if you ever need us, we're still here. And Chris is like, tell your friend that I'm good. I was just like, ooh. I was like, ooh, okay. But yeah, Harley and Chris are the chaotic duo I never knew I wanted until I got them.
Yeah, they're perfect together. And Renee not being able to keep a straight face throughout the entire promo was just fantastic.
Oh, it definitely was.
And then like even Utes being a a little shithead, just being like you know where to find me. Like, don't kill this messenger, essentially. Like I love the fact that like Harley was as you said, like challenged Brodito rather, and like hey, if that's a way to get the women some tag team titles, I'm not opposed to it.
100%. I'm like, I love them so freaking much. So, well, I mean, of course, when it, like I said, Yuta came by and he talked. Chris, said we're good, which does lead into what we're going to talk about next, which is our next match of the evening for Dynamite for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. This is Brodito versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. And I had a fun time with everyone involved, but of course, I'm going to be biased as heck. Claudio and Wheeler giving us some nasty work as a tag team. I'm like, oh my God, they're brutalizing Bandito and Brody King, and I'm here for it. And then, of course, the crowd is so behind Brodito. It is amazing. And their chemistry and their characters just work so well too, because at one point you got Wheeler on the ground after getting tag team, and of course Bandito and Brody King go to do their like guns in the air type of style, and then instead of doing that, we literally had Bandito doing the Macarena in the middle of this match. I was like, and Brody's like, nah, bro, I can't do that. I swear, if we could get Brody King to do the Macarena, I can die happy. I had fun with this match. It was great. And shout out to the homie Agent Lo-Fi with a couple of different thoughts as he's waiting for CMLL to start, but on Tuesday. But yeah, definitely need the women's belts, but also Brodito with a heart.
100%.
I had such a fun time. I had a fun time with this, Benny.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I haven't I don't think Claudio and Yuta had a tag match in a while, and I forgot how much fun they are together. Like Claudio is one of those dudes that he's sort of like a utility player. Like he can be a great singles guy. He can be a great tag wrestler. And uh, Willie Yuta being just a little shit, and Bro Dito, man, woo, man, they're having fun, and so is the crowd. So that's all that matters.
And you know what? Brodito is going international because this Friday they gonna be heading on over to CMLL to be in tag team action, and on top of that, they're gonna be defending these titles in Arena Mexico, which makes me super excited. So I can't wait to see them defend these championships. But of course, Brodito does end up winning this match. They retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and Age of Lo-Fi is correct. Claudio was, in fact, a legit licensed luchador in Mexico for a bit, which also helps. So, cannot wait to see Brodito in action on Friday. So, stay tuned for our review next week for that one. But we got to move on, though, because next up, Kazuchika Okada basically tells us he's on, he is the best wrestler in this business, bitch. It's literally what it is. I was like, all right, Okada, I see you. I see you.
Yeah, he's a little envious of Takeshita, and I am here for all of it. And just looking at this belt and this render, like, man, that's a pretty belt.
It would be a shame if somebody just, up and took it. Man, that Okada and Takeshita match in that feud when we get to it later this year is going to be amazing, and I cannot wait. I love the infighting. It's so much fun. Can't wait for it. So we were advertised to hear them, but we didn't get much of talking because then a whole fight breaks out between these two and FDR. I'm like, damn, y'all, we didn't even get really too much far into the talking. Then I literally blinked and I was like, Dax, you're bleeding from your head. How did that happen? What did I miss when I blinked? Dax is just bleeding from the forehead. And I was like, listen, Burt Reynolds over here, AEW Burt Reynolds, what happened? Like, what went down?
I think one of either Christian or Cope like laid in a couple potatoes, and just pop that eye open.
So of course we're continuing to build heat for their match going into All Out Toronto. So again, not much to add here. We were supposed to get them talking, but then a whole brawl broke out, and then Dax was bleeding. So it was like, baller. We'd love to see it. Which then later would be. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say plus the Adam Priest thing.
And that actually was gonna bring that up now because later in the show, FTR gets all mad. They're heated, so they get in Adam Priest's face and they challenge Adam Priest and a tag team partner that he can find to a tag team match on Collision. I was just like, all right, Adam Priest, let's see who you can find for Saturday. We're going to get to that match when we get to Collision, which I was like, oh my gosh, yes, but we'll get there. Oh, so much fun. Listen, it's serious when MVP is about to lace up these boots and come back into this ring like this because, after everything that had transpired at Forbidden Door, the Hurt Syndicate, is out here to, they hurt people. So they're going to make sure that Ricochet and the Gates of Agony feel hurt by the end of their match, which, sets up this trios match between, the Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Montave MVP. So Montave Porter. Oh, I'm so excited to see MVP. Of course, versus Ricochet and Gates of Agony. I was just like, yeah, I'm sold. This is going to be fun. I'm not expecting this to be a 5-star classic, but this is fun. And I'm going to be saying that a lot leading into All Out Toronto. I'm like, these matches are meant to be fun. Let's shout out for Gates of Agony getting on this pay-per-view as well. Let's go.
Let's go. Good. I'm just so happy for Gates of Agony being I've been a fan of this for since they came to Ring of Honor, and I was like, man, these guys are ready. Like they just need somebody to light a fire underneath them, and we got it. And as you said, with Montel Vontavious Porter stepping back into the ring, um, it's a special occasion, and um, I can't wait to see Toa Leona versus Bobby Lashley. Like, oh my god, like that's
That
gonna.
match was gonna go crazy.
The way he pounced Joe last week, I was like, "Oh my god!"
It was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for that. So, again, I'm excited for this trios match at All Out Toronto. And we're getting Shelton. Well, we're getting one-on-one matches leading into it, so I can't wait for that. So it's gonna be good. We get into our main event. I was like, by the time I looked at my clock, I was like, wow, Dynamite kind of didn't fill in too much time of backstage of pre-tapes and things like that. It's just like, all right, let's just have a show and we're gonna do it. So we get into our main event, which was an all-star 8-man tag team match, which of course had the team of our AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page, teaming up with his friend Kenny Omega, and of course Jet Speed of Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, taking on the Don Callis family, which is being represented here by our TNT champion, Kyle Fletcher, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. And shout out to the production team and everybody in AEW continuing to mess with the Bucks in the way that they are. Even in the graphics, they literally bad Photoshop this on here. It is amazing. So, of course, the Bucks are in this match. My God, this was I know we're throwing All-Star around every single week, but my God, this was All-Star. This match was nuts from beginning to end. I'm like, oh my gosh. This was a wild match, Benny.
Oh man, what a special match this was. The entire internet going, oh my god, Omega Hangman, and Josh Alexander really showed out in this match. As he does always. He's a special talent, and but to be honest with you, I think the person that stood out the most in this match was Nick Jackson. Like, you know, Nick is always usually the best one in the match, anyways. but but they did a TK driver to the outside, and then the jumping tombstone with Fletcher into a TK driver, and I was like, God, what? It doesn't even make any sense how great you are.
Everybody, it was just going ham in this match. And to bring in Agent Lo-Fi, this match was an absolute blast. I'm a sucker for multi-man matches, and it's been nice seeing AEW use these more. And honestly, I feel like since the summer began and we've seen a more frequency of multi-person matches in AEW, it's like, you know what? I think this has been the smartest idea AEW has had this year so far, in the sense because, again, it gets more people involved and everybody works so well with everybody. That's the crazy part to me. It's like because normally when you get so many people in the ring, you're like, okay, something's about to go down. Usually somebody is missing a cue or anything. Not for this one. Everybody was on 11 and it did not let up. So it was crazy. But the crazier part is that the heels won this match. So Kyle, Josh, and the Bucks end up winning. And then the beatdown doesn't stop, Benny. They go after Kenny. Everybody's dead. It's wild.
Yeah. I think they even did the textbook NXT Black and Gold where the trademark comes up, and then then they Fletcher does all that to Kenny and Hangman, and I like this a lot because not only does it set up Hangman Fletcher, but it also sets up Fletcher Omega, whenever Omega's ready, and because he's got to come back for vengeance, right? Revenge.
Absolutely. And Agent Lo-Fi brings us something good. The Bucks in general know how to put a good multi-man together, and they're possibly the best in the game. Which, you know what? I don't disagree with either, because the Bucks, again, have been in this business for quite some time. And so I was like, they work really well with tag teams and in multi-person matches too. But yeah, you're right, Benny. This sets up, it sets up, what we're getting, because when we get to Collision, we're setting up a champion versus champion type of match. And then, of course, Omega versus Fletcher, when Omega comes back and is ready, is also going to be a really good match and a really good feud.
You know what I just thought of? This is pretty funny. Like most of the time, we're usually complaining, like, oh, why is that champion fighting the other champion? And then, like, with Fletcher and Hangman, it's like, yeah, it's fine.
Be like, I'm not gonna complain because that match is gonna bang. Like, that match is gonna be amazing.
Absolutely.
So the heels stand tall at the end of Dynamite, which plays into a certain promo and Collision. So that's how Dynamite goes off the air. So now let's talk about Saturday Night Collision, because this was also a really solid episode. And again, we threaded the stories into a whole week of programming. And listen, we've always said that AEW Collision is where all the graps, it's the graps show where all the wrestling matches happen. So we get like 8 or 9 matches. That was not the case this Saturday. We honed into the stories we've been telling, and that is nothing more evident than what opened up the show for Collision this past Saturday, which was Jon Moxley versus Danny Garcia. This was another great match between these two. Mox has been doing a really fun job of putting over the newer, younger-ish talent of AEW, the new guys that are probably going to be the faces of this company once, the guard of like Kenny and Mox and the Bucks and even Hangman, and to a certain extent, like, decide to be like, hey, we're going to pull back the reins a little bit and we're going to let the new guys just go crazy. I had a blast with this one. I thought this was another excellent match. And again, I love seeing more aggressive Daniel Garcia. I want Red Dragon Daniel Garcia coming back through, because that is what I was introduced to him as, and I want to see it back. Give me the kind of heel-ish pure champion Daniel Garcia from this rebranded ROH when he was champ after beating Wheeler Yuta for the title. Like, I had such a blast watching this one.
Yeah, like, I love that one too. I love that Daniel Garcia too. Like when he has a fire lit underneath him, like he's got that. He's so much better as a heel. Like he's found himself as a baby face, but there's still like something missing in his baby face run, and I can't figure it out or put my finger on it. But like Danny Garcia, like he's a small guy, so like he has to have like a little bit of tenacity, yeah, and like he has that when he's a heel, and this was so much fun, and especially because the way that they've been there's been story beats on each show of this story for like the past few weeks, so it's not like so like I love that, like, it's a continuous story between Mox and Danny.
And I think it's going to continue. My conspiracy theory is that Danny is going to be a part eventually of, when Death Riders finally go down for the count. I think Danny's going to be a part of that, but who knows? But again, this was a great match. And again, I love watching a subtle change in Daniel Garcia's character, because after the match, Tony Schiavone, interviews Danny saying that was one hell of a fight. And Danny's like, yeah, that's all anybody has ever said to me for the last couple of years. And something needs to change. He even got mad at Daddy Magic, who was trying to calm him down after the match too. I was just like, yeah, give me more aggressive Daniel Garcia, because I want that in my life. So we will see the progression of Daniel Garcia and what's next for him, because Mox is going to keep himself busy And something that I knew was probably going to be an option, but we got it officially made, and we're going to talk about that when we get to a Moxley promo later. But right now, this was so out of the blue, but like I'm kind of here for it. But Big Bill Big Bill and Brian Keith are out here in this pre-tape backstage promo, and Big Bill is out here. You know what? He needs a challenge. And it's like, cool. And he calls out Eddie motherfucking Kingston, and I was just like, excuse me? I was like, what? We just gonna name drop Eddie Kingston like that? I was like, ooh. I'm like excited. I'm like, please, wrestling gods, please tell me this means that Kingston is close to coming back, because I was like, this was wild that Big Bill just decided to just name drop Eddie Kingston like that. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ready for the Mad King, but I'm also ready for the Mad King to come back. I miss him so much.
Yeah. Like, I love how, like, it was like intentionally misleading, right? Where Big Bill was like, I'm going to call out somebody else from New York. And, like, we all know that, like, Jericho was like like born in New York, so I guess that makes him a New Yorker. I guess like so like that's where my mind was going. I was like, is he calling out Jericho? And then like he said Eddie Kingston. I'm like, what?
Like, I perked up so hard. I was like, excuse me, come again? I was like, are we being for real right now? Because don't play with me, Big Bill. Don't play with me like that. I'm like, Tonith, Antonio Khan, do not play with me like that. But I'm like, listen, if this means that whether it's soon at All Out Toronto, after All Out, like the name has been dropped, so it's about to get on and popping, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. If this leads to like Brian Keith versus Eddie Kingston, like please sign me up.
My body's not ready for that match, but they want it. Like my body may not be ready, but my mind is so here for it. So, and speaking of my mind wanting this, but my body not being ready. My body was not ready for this match. Oh my God, this was so good. We're getting FTR. We got FTR versus Adam Priest, who happened to find a tag team partner, and the tag team partner happens to be none other than the Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington. I'm like, where is this kid? Like, we just pulling this kid out of the ether. Like, where he been? But as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in for a treat. And I was just like, by the end of this, I was like clapping, standing ovation. I was like, my God, I knew FTR was going to win, but holy crap, Adam Priest and Tommy Billington gave it to these boys and gave it to them good. They did. Holy crap, this was such an excellent match, Benny.
Oh my God, like this was like this is a great example of great tag team wrestling, right? Like this felt like early '90s like all Japan tag team match, like and even though they lost, they put up a hell of a fight, and
they look good in defeat, and that's the important part too.
And if we could get more of this, I'm down for them as a tag team at like every week. Like give them the mic time, everything.
Seriously, I was just like, let's get more of these people. Let's get this tag team division up and on and popping. Because bro, everybody we got good so far, but let's start getting more new tag teams in here. I would be here for an Adam Priest, Tommy Billington team up any day of the week. But this match was great. Oh God, I don't have a lot of notes for this because I was just like glued to my screen. I'm like, oh my God.
To be honest with you, same. But like I went and like rewatched this again because like my favorite matches I tend to watch them like a couple times, and like like one of my favorite tag team matches of all time is the British Bulldogs versus the team called the Miracle Generation of
Ooh.
Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams. And this really reminded me a lot of that. But a lot of technical wrestling that you wouldn't see in a typical tag team match. Pretty fun. I'm also a wrestling nerd.
Yes, and I'm glad, not to be possessive or anything, but I'm glad that we found you because now you are ours. I'm just kidding. I was like, Benny is our wrestling nerd. No, you cannot have him. But honestly, though, no, we want to make new friends. And if Benny is your gateway into this, then by all means. But I'm like, Benny is our nerd, and we will be, and we love him. Anyways, but
it'll be the first time I've been called a gateway.
Be like, he's mine. He's like, it's so good. But this was such a fantastic tag team match. FTR does get on the mic a little bit afterwards, saying that, you know, the intensity they brought to this match, they're going to bring it to Cope and Christian at All Out. So it's like, bet. All right, I'm here for that. Like, they decided just to put all the good stuff like back to back. So not only did we get a great tag team match, an amazing match, this is my favorite segment of the whole collision in the whole week. I was like, Dalton Castle and the Outrunners are teaming up, and Dalton Castle is back in AEW. Oh my gosh. I was crying. I was like, yes, Dalton Castle, I will. I want to go let's go break some hearts. I literally was a mess. I was so happy with this. I was just like, okay. Because like last week, we're like, okay, you know, the Outrunners, they're out and getting reconnected with nature, trying to figure out what's happening next. And then they were out in nature. They reconnected. I almost, you know, took myself out in the sense of like, I was talking myself out. No, it's not Dalton Castle. Because when we heard the familiar sound of the peacock, I was like, no. I was like, it can't be. And then I started seeing the boys. I'm like, oh my God, don't play with me. AEW, don't do it. And then, of course, this lovely man, Dalton Castle, appears. And I'm like, ah! I was screaming like I was watching like my favorite superstar at a concert. I was like, oh my God. Dalton Castle is my Elvis Presley of wrestling, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Betty, like, listen, I texted my friend of this. Is like, listen, Dalton Castle's back. 2025 is an amazing year of wrestling. Wrestling needs more gay, and we're here for it. I was like, Dalton Castle is the queerest thing ever, and I'm here for it.
He really is. Like he's very much like this generation's like adorable Adrian Street, where like he's like super flamboyant but can go in the ring, you know. And like, oh man, like last week, like when I saw the Outrunners vignette, I was like, I'm gonna see where this is going. But I liked the Rambo reference. But that Rambo reference turned into a Predator reference. And I was like, no. Like, Andis Dalton and the Predator? Like, oh my God. Like, I've never been happier in my life.
Listen, Dalton Castle, I am here. I'm so excited. Outrunners and Dalton Castle, make them the next trios champs, AEW. Do it now. Oh, man. I'm so happy to see Dalton back, and I can't wait to see how this goes into everything. So, we'll see what this week brings, and hopefully we'll see more of these three in action. So cannot wait.
Yeah.
So we get into a Moxley promo. Moxley kind of goes back to why he originally started Death Riders, where he wants to get rid of the things that are holding AEW back. And Darby Allin is consistently being a pain in the arse, so to speak. You know this match is going to go buck fucking wild. You know, anytime Darby is involved in a match, and anytime we get a coffin match, especially guys, and with Jon Moxley in this match too, Betty, all hell's about to break loose again. I'm like, what the fudge are these two gonna do? Like, I am nervous, but I'm a sicko and I'm here for it.
It's pretty apropos that there's two coffins in this in this graphic.
Listen, someone's gonna win this match. Yeah, someone's gonna win this match, but both of them are gonna be carried out in a coffin of some capacity. They're both gonna die, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, this is gonna go so hard. And like, you know what's funny? Like Mox is easily one of the best talkers in the business.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's not invested in a storyline, he's not invested in the storyline. And when he is invested in the storyline, oh my god, like, watch out because he's going to sell it to everybody.
Yep.
Like,
And thank goodness that this is one of those feuds that Moxley is invested in. I was like, thank you, Moxley, because I love Darbs. I love you. This match is gonna be crazy. Both of them are gonna walk out in a coffin or a body bag. It's one of the two. They're both gonna metaphorically die. They're gonna bleed. I was like, how are you gonna one up each other after Forbidden Door? So this coffin match will tell us that on Saturday, September 20th. Lord help us.
prepare yourself.
Oh my god, this was a car crash of a match, and I was here for it. I was like,
Yeah.
The chaotic energy that we talked about, Chris and Harley, just from the promo, everybody just brought the chaos. So we get an all-star 8-woman tag team match where everybody else that was not involved in the match was banned from ringside. So this was Timeless Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Chris Statlander, and Feel the Wrath, Harley Cameron, taking on the Triangle of Madness, which is Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue, teaming up with the Mega Sis, Megan Bain, who I'm happy to see back in action on my screen again. I love me some Mega Sis. This was a car crash of a match. This was wild. This is crazy. Everybody, this is what I expect. I was like, everybody's doing stuff. I know that's not very specific, but I was like, I literally was bouncing in my head like a ping pong ball, like in Pong, like going back and forth. I was like, okay, you're over here, but you're over there. I'm like, somebody do something where I can follow my eyeballs. I'm literally boink. My eyes were going all over the place. I had fun, but again, we've been seeing this iteration of everybody involved in this for the last like month and a half or so. So I'm like, I'm not saying I don't want to see these women on my screen, because if I say that, then we will never see these women on my screen.
Yeah, right.
But I'm ready for this feud between all these women to hit its natural conclusion and concerto point. Like, give me my blood and guts match, which leads into what we talked about during Tony's promo and Dynamite, because after the match is over, the faces win. Everybody's brawling all over the place. Jamie Hayter comes in for the save. Everybody's out here. Toni Storm is tired of everyone's bullshit, so to speak. And so Tony's just like, you know what? You want some, then come get some. And she literally makes her own match for All Out to Toronto, which is a fatal four-way for this AEW Women's World Championship. Tony's putting her title on the line against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. And I was just like, Tony, this is not what we meant when we talked about your promo. I was like, girl, I was like, now you have me. I'm not saying that I'm worried that you're going to lose, but like, when you increase the number of women in this match, you don't have to get pinned to lose, Tony. And that's what worries me a tiny bit. But I was like, what happened? Like, what was the turnaround from Wednesday to now? It's like, why are we getting this match? Now, don't get me wrong. This match is going to be a lot of fun. But I'm like, why are we doing a multi-person match? Like, listen, I love you, Chris, but like she and Tekla and everybody else got their business. I feel like it should have just been a one-on-one with Tony and Jamie or something, because that's, what we're leading into. Benny, I was just like, huh? What?
Yeah, the more I look at this, the the photo, the match graphic, the more I'm like, none of this makes any sense. Like, Tekla's fighting with Aminata right now. Like, Statler has just started a budding friendship with Harley Cameron and still is sort of Willow. I don't know. And Jamie Hayter and Tech. Oh, that's right. Jamie Hayter and Tekla are going at it, but did they put Aminata on the back burner for that? That makes no sense. And I want to care. That's the problem. I want to care, but I just don't because it doesn't make any sense.
No, again, I think the match is going to be fun, but from a storytelling and booking perspective, it doesn't. This match being made doesn't equate to what we've been seeing with all these women involved, And we literally just got Jamie back not too long ago, so I'm excited to see her in this match. But this is not the story I thought we were going with, so I'm like, okay, we'll see what happens. All right, I mean, sure.
Yeah,
So
isn't this like Jamie's like first time fighting for the title since she lost the title? Like that makes
that's
no sense.
That's what I'm saying. Last time Jamie was in any chance to face for the title that technically she didn't lose is when she lost to Mercedes at Double or Nothing this year, in the Owen Hart tournament. So, anyways,
Sorry, I wasn't trying to yell at you. I was just saying like this makes no sense.
I completely 100% agree with you because again, the story that we were telling, this match does not equal that. This match is going to be fun, but I'm like, y'all know Tekla's probably gonna get pinned, or like that's why she's here. But I'm like, you have so many women fighting in other capacities. But I'm like, all right. But I think this match will still be fun. But yeah, I'm just like, this does not equal the story that we're telling, Tony. But that is okay. Ace Austin has a pre-tape promo. I know people are like, this card gimmick is stupid. I was like, listen here, you leave AEW Gambit alone. But I'm here. Listen, I'm a big fan of Ace Austin. I have been since, New Japan, his time in TNA. Like, I'm here for Ace Austin. And again, with his ties to the Bullet Club, I want him and Juice and, the Guns to become a faction while we wait for the return of Mr. Jay White. I was just like, please, yes. So, well, I mean, that kind of leads into this right here, too. Like, these two things kind of go hand in hand. I was like, put these three together right now, Tony. Do it.
Yeah, like the way that they butted them up against each other, the promos and vignettes, I was like, oh well, there's got to be something there, because why would you put them back to back like that, you know? And like Jay White was in both, like he was in Ace Austin's vignette, like talking about his Bullet Club days. And then like they cut to this and like Jay's in the background, card blade. I'm like, let's do this thing.
For reals. I was just like, all right. So yeah, put these boys together. I'm so here for it. I'm like, for real, put them together. Okay, so this is the promo that we were talking about in Dynamite. Don Callis, and wants that title to belong to, that Hangman has to belong to the Don Callis family. So we get two things made. Number one, it seems we are getting Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman Adam Page at All Out Toronto, which I was like, yes, that match is going to be amazing. But then I literally fell out of my seat when it was made official that we're getting in a grudge match type of situation. Josh Alexander versus Hangman Page, and I was just like, how are you giving this away on TV? Like, holy hell. I was like, gimme.
No.
Well, and I said this last week, and we've been talking about it for a couple weeks. I love that Josh is, in these tag team and these multi-person matches, but I've been missing Josh in singles action, and we're getting singles Josh action tomorrow night. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, and a rematch from April.
Exactly.
Which I got to see that match live, and that match was amazing. And
so excited.
Josh really showed his chops on the mic in this promo here. Like, I've always thought like he's a really good talker. He just needs direction. Like, and he's got it. So
exactly. And we said the same thing when he was in TNA. When Josh was given a direction in TNA, the promos were awesome. And that's all Josh needs is he just needs a nudge in the right direction and motivation. And so I'm like, I get to watch this match tomorrow. Listen, I love being a wrestling nerd. And I was just like, yes, give it to me now. But I'll be patient and wait tomorrow because I'm a good wrestling nerd. But yeah, so Kyle versus Hangman at All Out seems to be on the horizon. Hangman versus Josh Alexander tomorrow night. Oh, Dynamite's gonna be so much fun tomorrow. I just can't. I can't with these. I can't. I was just like, Roddy, listen, Kyle, Kyle. I love you. I really, really do. But you are not going to change Roddy's mind like this. We've been over this, but I'm here for it, though. I mean, for goodness sakes, like, Roddy's not here for it. Ishii's just looking over, like, what are we doing? Hologram is worried about because we got a whole clone happening in the background somewhere. So I was just like, Kyle, I don't know. And Lexi's just like, what is happening? As dumb as this is, I'm here for this. I'm not going to lie.
yeah, I'm always down for silliness, and you don't get much sillier than Kyle O'Reilly. So, and two guys looking at him like, huh?
This was such a wild thing, but please give me more silliness in wrestling because this is a lot of fun. Oh. I think this might be a little presumptuous of me to say, Benny, but not to say Mark Briscoe is a bad wrestler, but holy shit. I was like, oh my God, I think this is the most serious I've taken for not again. And that's bad to say. I was like, holy shit, this was serious Mark Briscoe because this was the main event. And I was like, oh my God, it felt like I watched a pay-per-view match. Holy shit. This was so good. And of course, MJF, doing the reoccurring thing. AEW with these camera shots of just hiding while they're screwing people over. Oh man, but that Takeshita MJF stare down though, I was like, ooh, that whenever we get that match, ooh.
Yeah. Please and thank you.
Yes. Briscoe versus Takeshita though, I was like, yes, ma'am. I really enjoyed this too. Oh.
Yeah, Mark Briscoe, right? Like obviously I've been watching him for years, but he's just got he understands the level of intensity that he needs to bring to a certain match, and I wouldn't say he was heelish in this, but the Briscoes have a certain edge to them that they could teeter on both baby face and heel, but and bring something out of their opponents. And Takeshi's we're talking about wrestlers of the year. Like he's gotta be in the conversation because even on an off night, he's fantastic.
No, 100%. And again, I'm really hoping he pulls the Zack Sabre Jr. going into, talking about Takeshita going into Wrestle Kingdom, which I'm here for. But also Mark Briscoe too. Literally, my favorite three wrestlers this year are Bandito, Takeshita, and Mark Briscoe. Like since the beginning of this year. I know we make fun of Mark Briscoe and his ever-changing facial expressions every time he has a match graphic. I was just like, he has like 50 million faces. What are we doing? But honestly, I kind of been digging this more intense and, dare I say it, not serious, but like more focused Mark Briscoe, which is very nice to see.
Yeah, it's funny, how little things in wrestling can change a character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for a while, with the goofy Mark Briscoe, he was just wearing a Briscoe T-shirt or whatever, And like the day that he came out to talk to MJF, he's got the bandana on, and he's got the Dem Boys vest on, and the camel shorts, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this is serious Briscoe business now. Like, this is man up type of Briscoes.
Yeah, so because of MJF, Takeshita wins. Takeshita wasn't happy, but he back off for now. MJF wants to rid of Mark Briscoe so that way he can focus on other things. So he made MJF makes the match for him and Briscoe at All Out, but Briscoe gets to pick the stipulation, and Mark Briscoe is going to get back to him on that. And I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what's going to happen, what stipulation he gonna pick. So this should be interesting for sure, and I cannot wait to see what he is going to pick. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, being a Briscoe brothers aficionado, I like the way that I'm only joking around. It's just that like the Briscoes have a way of like when they're in a feud with somebody that the second match is usually a 2 out of 3 falls match. Because what's better than beating you once than beating you twice?
Yep. So this is how Collision goes off the air for us. So overall, a really fun week of AEW television. I had a great time. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm excited to see what happens for this week for Dynamite and Collision. So to give you a bit of an update, next Tuesday we will be reviewing Dynamite and Collision, but also that will be our, as weird as it is to say, it is the go home show for us, as we will next Tuesday be making predictions for All Out Toronto. And also, because they announced this during the week of AEW Dynamite and Collision, that the what is it? The 1918. The September 17th edition of Dynamite will be 3.5 hours, as we are doing a TV special, the September to Remember. So there will be no Collision. So Dynamite in 2 weeks is going to be, next week is 3.5 hours. I was like, oh, here we go. I know, it's just like, Lord help me. But I was like, hey, that's good enough to get everything in, and then we can focus on All Out Toronto on Saturday. But that's going to be it for us here at All Elite Ensemble. But before we go, let's take a look at what the rest of the week brings for all of us here. So tomorrow evening, we get a double dose of reviews at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. The NXT crew will be here to review NXT as we are on the road to No Mercy. And then at 8 p.m. Pacific, we will be reviewing a CMLL, as we're almost there. It is next Friday, but we are almost there to the 92nd Aniversario show, which I'm super excited for. And I cannot wait to talk about more Lucha Libre goodness. Then on Friday, the TNA boys at 7:30 p.m. Pacific are here to give you another review of TNA, as we are slowly but surely, but also kind of painfully building our way to Victory Road in a couple of weeks, as we are also looking ahead into October for Bound for Glory. Then on Saturday, I will be here at 7 p.m. Pacific, hopefully. And the MLW crew will be doing a live watch along for MLW Fightland, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then we wrap things up this Sunday with our WWE review. So cannot wait for all of that. But that's going to be it for me and Benny here this evening. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. So make sure to come back later this week for all the other shows we got going on, as well as some other fun things we do here at BC WrestlePod. But until next time, that's going to be it for us. So remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you tomorrow for NXT and CMLL, as well as an amazing week of reviews. But until then, this is Sayonara, adios, and peace.